Let me first ask this warm-up question. Speaking of diversity, can you type in the chat box, which film or TV series have you seen in the past 60 days? Okay. I'm sure a lot of you are into Netflix. So if I were to answer here, I love watching anime. So I just finished Demon Slayer episode 11 a few hours ago. That would be letter F. I've finished Inventing Anna on Netflix a few days ago. So that's letter A. I have letter E, British sitcom. Yes. Oh, I think I finished a Korean novella with my mom a few days ago as well. So I'm looking at the chat box. I see some letter B, some letter F. Okay. Why am I asking this? A lot of studies have shown that when you appreciate someone else's cuisine, a different food or a different TV show, and you appreciate it, it means that your foot is already halfway through the door, appreciating that your way is not the only way. And that means you do not think that the universe revolves around you. And we want that mindset even also in the corporate world. What is diversity? Diversity is the strategic representation of points of view and expertise that leads to optimal, I'm going to highlight, optimal decision-making in favor of business, which means it's like asking the question, ladies and gentlemen, before I push the button, have we covered all tracks? Is there someone out here who wants to raise their hand and say, before you push that button, please don't miss this yet. And here I am to tell you what you have been missing out. Right? That's diversity. And please take note, when I say diversity, and this is very critical in our discussion, I am not talking about the Hollywood definition of diversity. A lot of us fall into the trap thinking that diversity is like, ooh, his skin color is different. Ooh, he has a different gender. He's coming from a different religion. He's Generation Z or Generation Y. That's not the only definition of diversity, ladies and gentlemen. It's also about a lot of things. It's also about what we call as cognitive diversity, differences in way of thinking. Some people are analytical. Some people are critical. Some people have a high technological comfort, even if you make them adapt to Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or a different, or to, how do you call this? To cryptocurrency or to the metaverse. They swim like fish in the water. Some people, on the other hand, have low tolerance for technology. Even up to this day, they're only comfortable using SMS or using Facebook because they are slow to adapting. That's diversity, FYI. Some people have differences in communication style. Some people are good in public speaking. Some people are better in writing. Some people communicate more via body language instead. And some people have different emotional intelligence. Some can take it even if you're telling them constructive criticism, and they will take it as something positive. Some people will take it personally, on the other hand. This is diversity. Diversity is acknowledging that the way you were raised by your parents may be different to someone else, and for that reason, that other person talks differently, thinks differently, approaches a problem differently. Can I get a letter D as in diversity if we're appreciating that? Right? So when I talk about diversity, please don't only look at how many women are in the boardroom, right? Does the company do a lot of diversity program, right? Do we compensate a specific salary for singles? It is beyond that. That is the superficial definition of diversity. In diversity, we acknowledge, for example, in meetings that not everyone is vocal. In diversity, we acknowledge that if we're conducting a meeting on Zoom, not everyone is confident to turn on their microphone. And therefore, you should make sure that you enable the chat box because some are more comfortable typing it instead in the chat box. That's the diversity we want. And in the time of COVID-19, in the quarantine, great leaders embrace that kind of diversity in their teams.